Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you and the ranking member for having this hearing. It seems to me like we've had lots of conversations in this setting. As you described, this is an issue that matters to you. Our states, Mr. Chairman, are very similar, and community banks and credit unions are very important to the local fabric and the vitality of the towns that comprise our states. In my view, too many times our hearings have had those represented by the first panel in front of us, and I think without exception we always hear about how cognizant you are of the challenges that small financial institutions face. You express sympathy and concern. You explain to me that you have advisory boards and individuals who make certain that the community bank and credit union perspective is heard, and yet so many times the problems continue despite your sympathy and care. I hope that the result of today's hearing is that you will take back with you a recommitment toward finding a way to relieve the burden of those community financial institutions. And while it is useful, I suppose, for you to express to us your desire, your sympathy, your care, your agreement with our position, I hope that today's hearing results in action taken by the agencies to actually make a difference in how you conduct the exams, reviews, and what rules and regulations you place upon those community institutions. In my view, the burden also lies with Congress. My colleagues have outlined a series of pieces of legislation that have been introduced, but the reality is none of them have been passed. And so while I may sound critical of the regulators, I'm also critical of the United States Senate where I serve. It doesn't have to be a piece of legislation that I and Senator Brown introduced. It can be a piece of legislation that we all work on together. And so while I hope the regulators will do their jobs as it fits their description of what they want to accomplish, my hope and goal is that all of us on this committee and in the United States Senate would work together. A primary motivation for me to serve in Congress has been a belief in the value of rural America. Relationship banking is a significant component of whether or not many of the communities I represent have a future. It is only that community financial institution that's going to make the decision about loaning to a grocery store in town. It's only that entity that's going to decide that that farmer is worthy of one more year of credit. And so as we develop policies in Washington, D.C. that make everything so uniform, a cookie-cutter approach to lending, it means that many of my constituents and the communities they live in will have a much less bright future and a significant reduction in the opportunity to pursue their farming and business careers and occupations.